Hello, everyone. Welcome here today. Hello, everyone. Let's sing and dance and play. Hi.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Melissa. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the many lands in which we meet virtually today, as they were the first storytellers, and their stories and songs echo across these lands. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Lorri Beveridge, and I'm specifically a reading teacher with a passion for the early reading and music partnership.
And I'm Roberts-Yapp. I'm a speech pathologist and a former special ed teacher, and I'm currently working in the school system.
And thank you for coming along to have our chat today, Melissa.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Today we're investigating what we can learn from each other as professionals and where our work told hears.
And our goal for this webinar is to really articulate how our joint work can benefit other educators and establish what we can actually learn from each other.
That's a great learning intention, Melissa. Yeah, very important. Let's dive in. Why did you decide to move to speech therapy from primary teaching? I know you were a teacher first.
Yes, and I always knew I wanted to work with kids, so it was a big thing. What I love about speech pathology is that it really dives into those foundational building blocks that you need before you even get to school and start learning. So speech sound, receptive language, so what we understand, expressive language, what we use, and those early PA skills like rhyming, plucking out beats in words, that kind of thing. And my passion and aim is to really resource busy educators to cater for speech and language difficulties in their busy classrooms.
How important is that? So important, isn't it? So foundational.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I created the Teaching Speechie, which provides one-on-one consults with teachers to help them really work out how they can embed specific speech and language strategies into their curriculum and how they can get the most out of using tools like visual supports and social stories.
That sounds so important too. Have you got a website you can show us?
I do. It's not uploaded at the moment, but if you go to the teachingspeechie.com, there's a lot of things there for you to take a look at.
Thank you. I have
and
been
doing the technicals, Lorri, why are you now working in the early reading and music space?
Well, I've retired now, Melissa, from the department. And my first appointment, I work with beginning teachers now when they do their pracs for university. So it's brought back a lot of early memories for my first prac and my first appointment. My first appointment was Gaduga Central. And what's special about that in relation to your question is that we had a specialist music teacher working in the classroom with us, K2. And that specialist music teacher had all of this content knowledge that they gave us that we incorporated into our teaching reading. So when the kids were learning sounds, their grapheme, phoneme correspondences, and encouraged them to talk and to listen, there was a musical scaffold there. And then fast forward 40 years, and I had a job as a curriculum advisor, and my job was to go in and help beginning teachers set up their beginning English block every morning.
How wonderful.
Well, it was, because I didn't realise I had all of this. Well, I did know that I was musical, but I didn't realise I had all of this innate musical expertise that engaged and made students feel happy in the classroom, and that's what I tried to pass on to them. Yeah. So that's how I've come to the early reading and music partnership at this stage in my career. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Do you have a website that you can show us?
I'd love to. I've got it open for us ready. I'll just share my screen. Here is my early reading and music website, Melissa. Can you see it?
I love it. It looks so engaging for little people.
Thank you. And my goal is at the beginning of that. And it's all about the importance of the arts in education. And it helps all of the KLAs. Yeah. And I provide professional learning to schools, and that's here as well. And I have a regular blog for my subscribers.
Yes.
Also, I'm a researcher, and I've written a number of articles on this area, and I've written, I edited one book, and I've written another book, and they're there as well. And there's my contact details.
Fantastic.
While we're here, can I show one more thing so I don't have to share my screen again, please, Melissa?
Absolutely, yes. Let's see.
My current project is putting my work together instead of face-to-face, which I'm available for whenever people want me to do that. I'm putting together an online course, 3 one-hour sessions. And just here I've got just the second, here. This is the second literacy one I'm just editing at the moment. But, it's just, well, I love it. It's great, but it's, the reason why I did it this way was 3 one-hour sessions and have 2 weeks between each session.
Yes.
Excuse me. So teachers can try new things in their classroom.
I think it's really important to have that time to go away, try those strategies in real time, and then come back ready to learn the next part.
Because if teachers don't do it straight away after the professional learning, it doesn't get done, does it? It doesn't get embedded in their practice, as you know. Yeah. Thank you for letting me share that. So we have some commonalities, clearly, don't we?
We sure do. We first met when we were both working up at Metford Public School many years ago now. I was second year out of uni, and you were the early stage 1 coordinator, and so we had worked on kindy together, and you were also my supervisor, which was so nice. And I just remember looking back at that cohort of kindy kids that we had, and there was such a broad range. We had so many children coming to school who had so many speech language learning difficulties, but all the way up to those kids that needed academic extension and were in the gifted and talented realm. So we had such a broad range even back then, didn't we?
We certainly did, I remember that. But
yes.
Underpinned by that was our importance of the early reading success. That was what drove us every day, didn't it?
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
And then and that's grown into the passion for us working with teachers now in both of our roles, hasn't it?
That's right, it has.
Yeah, that was a great time.
It was.
And after that, is that when you decided to make the jump from primary school teaching to speech therapy? And if that is the case, why?
Well, it was in that position that I really started to develop a passion for visual supports, visual schedules and social stories. And then the next year I was very fortunate to get a specialist job as a support teacher language. You supported me to go for that role. And essentially I had a class of 7 kids at a different school who all had severe speech and language difficulties. And the idea was to provide them with an enriched year of language content that overlaid their curriculum in the hope of boosting their language skills and then send them back to their home school. And during that role, I got to work with a speech pathologist in my classroom 3 days a week. How spoiled was I?
Fantastic.
So lovely.
Every teacher deserves that.
Right, I know. I was so spoiled. And the more I saw what they were doing, the more I wanted to get involved with it. And I really enjoyed that idea of working one-on-one with a child and really getting into the nitty-gritty of what they specifically need help with. So here I am. And you, Lorraine, you became an academic, a curriculum advisor. So how did that happen?
Well, I don't know why, but I was very good at applying for funding, state government funding. Yes. And I had a reputation in the area of, get me to write the funding because everyone will get it. I don't know how that happened, but it did.
Fantastic.
And I had an academic that came into our school at Metford when we were there together, and academics try to get people to do their PhDs. Like that's their symbol of success if they can get PhD candidates. So I was sort of foisted into this role. I had no idea what that was involved at the time, but I did it. And it was on the impact and sustainability of collaborative professional learning, just like we're doing today, Melissa. We're collaborating about professional learning and producing something hopefully for teachers. And after I finished my PhD, after much pain and 8 years, which is a long time,
it is.
I didn't want to go back to school as an executive as to what I was doing because then I had to be a generalist across all the key learning areas. I wanted to specialise and I wanted to focus on professional learning, what makes it work and what makes it sick.
Yes.
And that's how I got to the academic perspective, and I started to write, and that was really a good thing to do. The curriculum advisor sort of came along at a time when I didn't want to go back to school, and it was a specialist job, but the main part of that was professional learning, and that was my passion, so that was good. But that's how that happened. Yeah.
So important.
Yeah. So, as I just said to you, I am an academic, and with my academic hat on, which I didn't bring today, but it's there.
It's there. It's always on.
What's the main theoretical underpinning of speech therapy in mainstream schools? That's what we're focusing on. I know some states do it well. Queensland does it well.
Yeah.
I don't know why New South Wales doesn't.
Yeah, I do feel like we're behind in that regard, but I think the quote that's really stood out to me, and I read this last year, is that 90% of children with disabilities, as they worded it, are actually in mainstream schools. They're not in special ed units, they're not homeschooled, they're in regular mainstream schools and mainstream classrooms.
Like we taught him.
Pardon?
Like we taught him.
Exactly, yes, and we know firsthand how difficult that is for teachers to manage such a broad range. So it's not just special ed teachers who need these strategies, it's all classroom teachers. They need the strategies to be able to cater for this diverse range of abilities that they have in the classroom, but by working smarter, not harder. And that's what really, I think that quote really made it seem real world to me. And what about you, Lorraine? What's your main theoretical underpinning?
Well, I've been fascinated by neuromusicology the last couple of years, and that's about the brain. And I've got my brain here for you, Melissa. That's life-size too.
Have a look at that. That's awesome.
And I wanted to talk about why this is important in terms of neuromusicology. And the research says that in young children under the age of 7, specifically, speech and language and music draw on the same neural pathways, specifically in the brain's frontal lobes and temporal lobes, and they're the higher order parts of the brain where all the higher order things happen, which is good. It's the most advanced regions. So through exposure to music, and that's what we're about, the human brain is preparing students, young children, in learning to read.
Yes, without even trying.
Which is just fascinating.
It is.
And when you ask me about theoretical underpinnings, I've just got a couple of big names to drop in here. First of all, this one. This is your brain on music. What happens to the human brain when you play music? Or you make music. Even better. Yeah. And then this one. So you can see I've got a thing about the brain.
I love it.
Yeah. And then Anita Collins, her work, she did her PhD on this topic, and she's a music teacher in Canberra, and she has a great website, and I've used a lot of her work.
Wow.
And then, the last couple of years in education, I've been really concerned because we're focusing on literacy and numeracy, and that's a good thing, but we're losing that emphasis on the arts.
Absolutely.
And this book changed the way I thought about this. Transforming education through the arts, how by using the arts and having a strong arts basis in education, all areas improve.
Wow, so interesting, isn't it?
And I think that we've taken the wrong turn in some ways. We have to get back on the track. And all of those theoretical underpinnings resulted in my book that I brought out in 2023.
Congratulations on that too.
Well, thank you. It's a simplified form of all of that theory that I just talked to you about in Teacher Talk.
And what's interesting, if I can offer a real-world example of how I feel we're losing the arts, my own children's school, and this is right across the board with all schools in the region, is that the choir has to practice at lunchtime. It's not even within the normal school day anymore because we're running out of time. And so if you want to be in the choir, if you want to do music, you have to sacrifice the playtime, which means that a lot of kids don't want to do choir. And I think that's just so sad.
I relate to that because I taught, when I was at Ashtonfield, I taught guitar at lunchtimes.
Yes.
And one day a kid didn't come to guitar, so I went out to the playground to get him. And you know what he said? it's a lovely day. I want to play in the sun.
Right?
I agree with him.
You can't blame him.
But it wasn't fair, and I agree totally. Yeah, we've got to give it the time and the space that it deserves in the curriculum. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think that leads us into what we talk about a lot is that the school curriculum is so crowded these days. And teachers really do need to prioritise what they're teaching. And that's where I'm so passionate about helping teachers to work smarter, not harder. So some simple ways that they can embed speech, language and learning into their curriculum. So I wanted to show you a couple of resources that I've brought along today. So the first strategy that I can't speak enough about is to have a visual schedule of what's happening during your school day. And here's a little mini one I've brought along. It's so important for kids to be able to see all day what's happening because it takes the pressure off the short-term memory, increases that predictability and that consistency. What I see in classrooms a lot now is that we're using the smartboard for visual schedules. But what happens is, as soon as we flip to a different slide, that visual schedule is gone. So we lose the predictability in the modelling. So what I'm really passionate about saying is keep doing the visual schedule, just print it out in a physical copy next to the smartboard so that students can come along, take off the first one, see what's happening before, after, next, all of those important words.
And that tactile.
Yes.
Being able to touch things.
Exactly. Yes. We're losing the physicality, particularly in the early years of schooling. The other strategy that benefits all students is the use of social stories. Social stories, as you know, they're just simple stories with simple language and pictures because it's appealing to that visual learning, and it basically teaches a new skill or a new routine. And I make a lot of these for my teachers. One of the most popular ones is I can have safe hands and feet at school. So teaching what safe hands and feet look like at school, examples of safe hands and feet. So giving a high five or giving a wave, and then what we can use our safe hands for, like sharing, asking for help, playing. And the other social story that I work a lot with kids on is this concept of winning and not winning at games. That can be a really big social skill for some students. And the importance of what language to use when you win is the same as what language that you use when you don't win. So, good game, that was fun, let's play again. And then for the kids who are getting really frustrated if they don't win, what frustration looks like, a crunchy face, their hands are clenched, they've got a frown in their mouth, and then some simple strategies to help them calm down from that. So stop, take 3 deep breaths, choose a calm down activity. And that's something you can read every day with your whole class so that all of you are getting that modelling.
That's wonderful, Melissa. You made those, yes? You made those? They're your resources?
Yes, I made them. Yeah. But you can personalise them for your own class. So they're editable as well. So now it's your turn, Lorraine. How can teachers use more music in their early reading classrooms?
Well, I've made a slide.
Well done. I love that.
I just thought you might ask something like that. And I'm going to nuance that question you asked a little bit about what are the advantages of the early reading and music partnership in the classroom. So the improved rhythmic activities, so a lot of lesson breaks and little songs and games in the classroom to break up the day and also lessen the cognitive load you were just talking about. Yeah, that's important. And then sound to symbol correspondences. You remember a lot of the songs like Ants in the Apple, Ants in the Apple, and all of those sort of songs. It's help children remember their grapheme phoneme correspondences. Phonemic awareness, listening to high and to low sounds and making them with instruments in the classroom to help children. Reading prosody, that beautiful expression, the highs and the lows when you're reading that engage students. I actually write a lot of songs or a lot of melodies that help children to sing songs. and they're all on my website if you're interested in looking at some of those. And then the joyfulness of music in terms of calming and engaging reluctant learners. It's so engaging for everybody. Yeah,
Absolutely.
So that's an important thing. And that facilitating cooperative group learning, doing a project together, making a song, making a reader's theatre, using some instruments to emphasise the comprehension of that book, what it's about, all of those sorts of things. So there's some of the advantages of using early reading and music together in the early reading classroom, Melissa.
That's fantastic. You forget about that collaborative nature of music, how everybody contributing to the one sound is so important.
That's right, it is. Very much so. Yeah.
And I think the only other resource that I wanted to mention was that I offer a special one-on-one consult service where teachers want to learn more about how we can work smarter, not harder, for embedding speech and language into their curriculum, that we can have a catch-up via Zoom and talk that through a little more. So you let me know your specific curriculum and we go through some strategies that would be useful to help you work
What a great initiative. Yeah, so powerful. Yeah. So where to next, Melissa, for you?
Where to next? I'm really interested in staying in the space of providing teachers with more strategies about how they can really embed speech, language, and early literacy into their curriculum. And what about you, Lorri? Where can it for you?
Well, my online course, I want to get that up and running and start to publicise that for schools to let them know that if they don't want to have a person for professional learning, they can take the product and they can use it as they wish in their classroom. So that's important. That's probably where I am next. Plus, I started some research in 4 schools for my book. The last chapter of my book was about 4 case studies about some schools that did an online music program in early reading in their kindergarten classrooms, and one school was lucky enough to have a secondary music teacher, like my experience, in the K2 space.
Yes.
And I think they opened their heart to me because I was going to come back and do some concrete research with their schools, like a pre-test, post-test design. So we have the data, the local data, to say that this works.
Yes.
So that has to happen very soon. But the problem with that is that you have to go through ethics and things, and it takes a long time. But I've started that process. So that's definitely on the cards for me as well.
Yes. Fantastic. And for me, I think, in talking about take-home messages, Lorraine, what would be your one take-home message that you'd like to share with listeners today?
I've definitely got one, and it's about my music advocacy role. Music education is valuable for all students, and research increasingly points to this, the reciprocity of learning music and learning to read. So more broadly, I am an advocate for the arts in education, and I'm concerned about the arts being relegated to a lower rung on the ladder in education because it strengthens all learning. So that's my take-home message, Melissa. And what about you?
Fantastic. For me, it's about starting small, introducing one strategy at a time. Teachers are already overworked and overwhelmed, so we don't want more overwhelmed. So start small, pick one strategy, pick one visual schedule, pick one social story that you're going to work on. Start small and build on it. I can't say that enough.
That's important. And when you did the visual schedule, I thought that's good for teachers too, because we get so engrossed in what we're doing. We sometimes forget things, don't we?
Absolutely.
It's there in front of you. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It keeps everyone on track.
So thanks, Melissa, for your time today, and I wish you well both in your current work and in the future. Collaboration really is key to improving learning.
And a big thank you to you too, Lorraine. Your knowledge and expertise in this area is just so valuable, and I really hope you can continue to get the message out there.
Thank you, Melissa, and all the best. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.